Oh, yeah. There you go. Need some protection out here. You know what I'm saying? Here. Hell yeah.
Anyways, guys, I'm not going to lie. These rankings are really geeked. Hopefully, they're not as geeked as college football playoff ones. That's what I'll say there. Week 12 is right around the corner, guys. Let's get these power rankings out of the way. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy this week's edition of the weekly power rankings. I mean, that again kind of implies by this week's. But anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff happened this week that should shake up some parts of these rankings. But I'm going to be honest, guys, it's kind of a mess. Usually by this time of the season, we know who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. Thankfully, for some injuries, I think we can make those distinctions. I'm not starting to categorize these teams like I did, obviously, for like the playoffs and stuff. But other than that, guys, I mean, that's when we'll get to like the wild card rankings and stuff. But playoff picture will start to become a little bit more relevant when we get to Thanksgiving. I will whip that out for the power rankings that week. But, which again is actually next week's power rankings. That's crazy. This is the final week. We'll be just looking at these standings, which I haven't really utilized that much. Which again is partly my bad. But anyway, spoiler alert for you guys. The bottom of these power rankings really haven't changed all that much. My worst team in football right now is the Tennessee Titans, who continue to do their tank as they have now fallen to 1-9, which of course is the worst record in the entire NFL. They have now lost. What is it now? 5 straight games. I was going to say something else, but whatever. Again, off their bye week this past game, they actually scored points as they were able to be somewhat competitive with the Texans losing on a game-winning kick. Cam Ward still turning over the ball with that fumble, but at least he threw a touchdown. They did lose their number 1 receiver, Calvin Ridley, to the year with a broken fibula, which, again, at least in his case, might not be the end of the world. Obviously, he wants to get healthy, though. But for the Titans, they're obviously, it's a lost year for them. They've been pretty awful. But at the same time, at least they're competitive against the division rival, I guess. That's the silver lining. Number 31, I still have the Browns. Guys, Shedeur Sanders is an absolutely horrible quarterback. I think we can say that. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. They have the Raiders this week on the road. That should be interesting. Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, the Titans have to play the Seahawks at home. Oh, my God. But, yeah, the Browns, I'm not that concerned about this team in terms of, again, their outlook through the rest of the season. We know they suck. I'm just interested to see what Myles Garrett can do. They were very competitive against the Ravens. Again, it was kind of a weird division sort of game in that sense. But at the same time, they obviously have been a really freaking good defense. But their offense is such a joke that, honestly, I don't know if I can put them any higher than this. I want to, though, because, again, realistically, again, I just can't, though, because the teams above them, I'm like, at least they were also, like, sort of competitive this week. So I can't really, like, put them any, like, higher. I want them to because I think they're a little bit better than this, but, like, it's just kind of how things worked out this week. Speaking of that, the Jets are a much more improved team, at least of this week, as they did bench Justin Fields for the second time this season after he was pretty disappointing on Thursday night. But even then, they were still pretty competitive because their defense did come to play, and offensively, they were at least up front. That's the third time I said that. And the running game, those two things worked pretty well. But again, they still lost to the Patriots by multiple touchdowns, even though at the same time, they played pretty well, to be honest with you guys. Again, at the end of the day, Justin Fields isn't good enough. Going to Tyrod Taylor, he should at least make this offense something of note. Anything more than that, probably not, but who really cares? This is a 2-8 football team, guys. Up next, I got the Giants. They're going to be at 29. Again, the reason they're this low is because they haven't really played well. Again, they're 2-9 now. They're on a, 5-game losing streak. When they get Jackson Dart, but they're again a really good team. But honestly, surprising performance for a lot of people by Jameis Winston. He played pretty well. But guys, at the end of the day, this is a Giants team that has already clinched a losing record on the season. A losing record that they have held, I think, what is it now? 10 out of the last 12 seasons. The only 2 seasons they didn't. They had a winning record was 2022 and 2016, so it's obviously not been a very successful franchise for a while now, but again, the fact that they're already this far out of it at this point in the season is not really exciting. But at the same time, defensively, they had one of their better games this season. Obviously, again, Jameis did good enough, but again, they just kind of fell, again, really unfortunate last play in the game there with Winston and Hyatt against the Packers. But, yeah, with Dart back, they're still going to be a better team. Like, we know, again, they're going to be decent enough to compete with Dart. But now at 28, I got the Commanders. They should probably be lower, but again, they're not coming off their worst game, even though they honestly should have beat the Dolphins in that game. They outplayed them in a lot of ways. But a lot of big-time self-inflicting wounds, which actually has plagued this team a lot more than people would want to admit, even though, again, they've had all those injuries. That kind of, like, again, was the big thing with this game. Their defense finally played well against that, again, a little bit more than a mediocre Dolphins offense. But again, took that game to OT, guys. I can't really complain too much about how that Commanders team played this past game, considering even though they're on a 6-game losing streak and stuff. Again, it could definitely be worse. Speaking of worse, we got the Falcons, who somehow gave up a franchise record 450-yard passing game to Bryce Young, and lost quarterback Michael Penix to a third torn ACL in his career. Again, overall, he had 2 on his right, and I think this was the first one was on his left. I don't know. I said it in the recap back on Monday, but still. For this Falcons team, very disappointing season again so far. Again, they've lost, what is it now, 5 straight. Kirk Cochains will be taking over. This is a really bad team, guys. Like, not really bad. They're a talented football team, but they've had a really unfortunate, things happen to them recently. They got the Tank Bowl against the Saints this week, and I really hope they lose that one, guys. I'm begging this team to continue to do what they're doing. I'm telling you, because again, the Rams said they're picking and all. But yeah, this is definitely one of the bigger droppers of the week. 26, I got the Raiders. They were pretty pathetic on Monday night. They didn't really show up. Again, they had a very good chance to again kind of like control that game after the first quarter. That did not in fact happen as the Cowboys put up 21 points. Again, go watch the Monday Night Football recap. Again, shameless plug there. Again for all that game. But again, Geno has been absolutely horrific this season. Again, Gentry's had a really disappointing and really tumultuous rookie season. This is a 2-8 football team. They're really the only reason they're not lower is because the teams that are below them have not really won anytime recently. I mean, they haven't either. Again, you could argue they're lower than this, but at least they're a team you look at, and I'm like, they're still put together. Are they a trash football team? Yes, but again, all these teams below have something that is, other than like probably the Titans, that again, no, all these other teams below them are broken. The Raiders at least have like some semblance of their opening day roster, even though obviously they've been pretty awful this season. 25, I have the, what do I have at 25? I could not tell you. What are we doing at 25? Is it Cardinals? Let me see here. I think it's the Bengals. Yeah, Bengals are at 25. Other than Jamar Chase getting rage baited and all, that was a pretty bad performance by the Bengals on offense. Again, their offensive line couldn't block for crap, even though they did do a decent job for Chase Brown. But Joe Flacco had his worst game with the team. Their defense, again, folded like a launcher in the fourth quarter, but at least they kind of kept them in the game for a while, which at least is encouraging. But guys, the Bengals got again kind of like rolled over and died there against the Steelers, which is just not really a good sign. 3-7 is their worst start since again COVID, so just not really looking too hot here for the Bengals. 24, I got the Cardinals, who also off to their worst start with Kyler Murray at the helm. Obviously, he hasn't played in a while now. Like, what is it, a month, something like that? More than that, actually. But still, for the Cardinals, they're now 3-7. They're out of it. They have a game against the Jags next week, where I guess they could stun some people. Jacoby Brissett's been throwing the ball around the yard. Whether it's really amounted to anything, again, is up to you. But still, this Cardinals team is not very disappointing, and we'll probably be looking for a new head coach this offseason, and probably a new quarterback too. 23. Again, I don't even know what's going on. Are the Cardinals at 23? What are we doing? I'm so confused. I gotta look through this again. I think I'm gonna jog my memory. Oh yeah, the Saints should be in here somewhere. I'm gonna put the Saints there. Saints, guys, they were on their bye week, but again, the last time we saw them was again 2 weeks ago with Tyler Shough at quarterback. He did decent. They beat the Panthers. I mean, again, it was kind of like a fluky win, sort of. But I'm gonna take them over all these teams right now, guys. Like honestly, again, they're obviously not a very good team at all, but at least like I don't know, they're competing. I don't know, guys. I'll keep them there at 25 though. They're definitely gonna drop after this game though, considering they're playing the Falcons. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. 22. Give me the Dolphins. It wasn't a good win. It wasn't a pretty win, but they still have a shot to make the playoffs, which is kind of where I think we can draw the line here. All the teams below them, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if Joe Burrow comes back this past weekend, they run the table. Again, they're not making the playoffs. So 22, though, I got the Dolphins. Looking at them in the playoff picture, again, I'm not going to actually look at the playoff picture, but there's a shot, because, again, off their bye week, again, they just played Madrid, so, again, they have their bye week. But off their bye week, which we'll talk about a lot more, they, again, have some pretty decent matches before they play the Steelers for what is going to be a big game in terms of both not only the Steelers' venture in the AFC North, but also the Dolphins' playoff hopes. Again, there's definitely something there. Even though they're obviously a team that would get absolutely routed in the first round and the wild card, there's at least something there, which again, I think is some hope for them. Even though they're obviously haven't had they've had about as bad of a season as they could have thought of coming in. Vikings are at 21. They don't have a quarterback. That's the biggest thing I can say about them. JJ McCarthy sucks. Their defense, their offense, they have good players on both sides of the ball. They do have guys like Justin Jefferson who are obviously underperforming this season. There's other guys that have been really inconsistent. But at the same time, this is a team that hasn't really been able to string much together this season. They have been able to compete, though. We saw that against the Bears this past week. But at the same time, does that really matter when you guys can't finish games off? Like, what are we doing? Again, this is a team that was expecting to do a lot this season. They haven't really done anything. So like, what are we doing? 20. I got the Panthers. Again, the difference between Bryce Young and J.J. McCarthy is that Bryce Young still hasn't been great, and I don't know, he cooks the Falcons. This is a team, they're 6-5. There's a really good shot that they have a chance to make the playoffs. Will they actually do that? I don't really know. Again, I'm kind of just throwing a bunch of words together to kind of tell you that's kind of what the Panthers are like right now. They have the Niners this week, though, on Monday night in San Fran. That'll probably be an ugly game. Then they have the Rams at home. Those will be very telling about how good this team actually is. We know how good they actually are, though, because, again, they followed up their best performance in years against the Packers with an absolutely atrocious performance against the Saints in front of their home crowd. So I don't think this team really legit at all, but they're actually only a half game back of the Bucs with 2 games to go against them. So we'll see how that develops throughout the rest of the season. 19, I have the Cowboys. It wasn't an impressive win, but it was a big, important win for them. Not only because if they would have lost that game, there's a very real chance that the Eagles would have won the division by Thanksgiving, but also because the Cowboys' offense was non-existent for 3 weeks. So again, the fact they pulled up this week and played the way they did was pretty encouraging. Same time though, this defense is still not like the NLBL, considering the fact that they just played the Raiders. So that's what I'll say there. But Cowboys definitely encouraging performance there. Number 18, I have the Chargers. They put together one of the worst performances I've seen all season, as they just got absolutely mauled by the Jaguars. Their offensive line was absolutely terrible. Their defensive line was absolutely terrible, and they got their absolute butts kicked by that team. And now they, again, go into their bye week with a lot of uncertainty and seeing how, again, they can finish the rest of the season. They have a brutal schedule. I'm not looking highly on the Chargers. I would be surprised if they would finish with a record of better than 10-7, to be honest with you guys. I think they will have a losing record down the rest of the season. What are they now, 7-4? Yeah, so I think that, no, they'll probably go 3-3, maybe 2-4. I think is more likely, though, to be honest with you guys. So honestly, we'll say 3-3 or 2-4, because they could definitely finish the rest of the season with the 500 record. But that's what I got there. 17, we have the Texans? Yeah. Texans, I was not really that thrilled. Again, I understand they didn't have C.J. Stroud, but still, they won't have him this week either. They're going to have to figure it out. Again, hosting Buffalo tomorrow on a short week, which we will be talking a lot about. Again, with that prediction there. But again, the Texans aren't looking in the greatest situation right now. At the same time, they were 0-3 to start the season. So the fact they're, again, even in the situation in the first place is probably a blessing. Obviously, though, their defense is elite. Steelers defense, they look elite, other than, Jalen Ramsey getting ejected for 2 personal fouls in the matter of, 5 seconds. But, yeah, they could really close the game out against Cincy. Again, it wasn't, the most pretty offensive performance. Obviously, Rodgers breaking his hand is a big issue. I don't know how long he will be out, but it definitely will affect this team. Should they be this high? Realistically, no. They should probably be down here, which is honestly maybe where I do put them. But I'm not going to, because they're 6-4. They're still competing for the division, and considering they're playing the Bears this week, who really knows what will happen? Next up, we have the Bears. Actually, yeah, I think we are on the Bears now. Yes, they are. What are they now? 7-3. Which is just insane to think about. They're not. I think they're the 3rd best team in this division. They've been winning a lot of close games. They've been teetering on the edge here. I think they are in for an absolute arse whooping. We'll see what happens, though. Again, I've been saying that about the Patriots, and that just, again, hasn't really developed. So, again, we'll see. Bears and the Steelers this week. That should be pretty interesting. 14. Give me the Jaguars, right? No. Bucks. The Bucks defense couldn't stop a cold last week. I understand they forced 2 turnovers, but it was really just Josh Allen being an absolute freaking moron. He did have 6 touchdowns, so I can't really talk too much. But still, Bucks offensively, again, Sean Tucker had a big game. They will not be able to do anything like that against the Rams this coming week. But it'll be interesting to see how Baker throws the ball around the yard. Defensively, they're going to have to play their best game of the season against that Rams offense. Again, very similar to what they matching it with the Seahawks, because I will be very shocked if the Rams put together even a remotely similar game plan. If again we see if what happened against Seattle happens this week against the Bucks, but we'll see. Big time Sunday nighter for the Bucks this week. But yeah, the game against the Bills was definitely disappointing. 13 Jaguars, best performance of the year. This deserves definitely a big bump up here. Realistically, are they going to follow this up with a good game against the Cardinals? Probably not. They're probably going to force the game to go to OT or something. But the Jaguars are still a team that are dangerous in some senses. Realistically, that was probably a big time fluke. But again, I got to give them the props. That was one of the better wins I've seen all year. 12, give me the Chiefs. They are a team that no one is scared of right now, and that is about as bad of a thought as you can have as a Chiefs fan right now, because, again, that's what you guys have kind of, I wouldn't say you're not the freaking Patriots. You go, oh, but still, the Chiefs, yeah, that was a really bad loss to the Broncos. Again, until they start winning one-score games, I have absolutely no confidence in their ability to start to make things happen. Number 11, though, I think I have if I'm not mistaken, I think I have the Niners. The Niners also didn't look fantastic against Cardinals, but that offense finally had their guys back, which was huge. Other than the fact that this defense is so cooked, this is a team that should be able to make the playoffs with the schedule they do, in fact, have. But do something against the Panthers, please. Blow them out. That would be very nice. Number 10, I think I have the Packers, right? Yeah. Packers, I don't know. They survived and they advanced against the Giants. Really nothing more. Their offense, other than Jordan Love making some fantastic throws, was very inconsistent. Obviously, Josh Jacobs being out a couple weeks is definitely an issue. They had the Vikings this week at Lambeau. Please don't blow that game. Defensively, they had their issues, but at the same time, they're still a group that can, again, clutch it when they need them to. Number 9, I got the Lions. Offensively, they were absolutely abysmal this past game. No, I know my bad. The Ravens are supposed to be here, so I completely messed this up. But we'll move these teams up. The Ravens, again, I kind of moved them up, like expecting them to actually put their crap together against the Browns. That just did not happen. Again, maybe it was in the midst of that 3-game winning streak, or 3-game road stretch. But guys, let's be honest. Other than that Bears game, the Ravens haven't really outplayed anyone in this win streak. Again, against the Dolphins, they really didn't play awesome. Again, it was just the Dolphins doing a bunch of freaking stupid stuff. Then this the next week they played the Vikings, and that was a game that was a complete just like ugly snooze fest thing. Then this past game they almost lost to the Browns. Like what are we doing, Ravens? It's either you guys are just not that good, or you got to freaking pull something here and do something good here against the Jets. I don't know. I want to see them blow a team out, to be honest with you guys. Again, you don't need to, I guess. Again, similar to what we saw with the Rams last year, but like, I'm not really confident in this team going into freaking Buffalo right now and beating the brakes off them. Again, we saw that week 1 performance was crazy, but again, I don't see them going in there and winning right now. Number 9, I have the Lions. They were, again, like I said, offensively absolutely abysmal against the Eagles. They, again, had some big plays. They could not get anything going on the ground. It was very concerning, but at the same time, again, I expect them to have games like this season, especially, again, with not having Ben Johnson and all that, but at the same time, they've been really good all year on offense. Defensively, though, they really weren't, not many issues. Again, not too many issues, but again, definitely 3rd and short, something I think they'd press on, but again, the fact that they still were to make it that close with how their offense played was pretty impressive. Number 7, I got the Bills. Yeah. It wasn't a great win, but it was definitely a game against a contender that you need to see this team play well in. Again, they moved to 7-3, show they can bounce back, again, after a really bad game. That's not really a team they are. This week, though, I need them to see them going to Houston and put together a really good game. Again, especially with that defense. I am, like, so scared about that run defense right now because it is so bad. Other than that, though, we got number 6. That's going to be the Patriots. They just keep on winning. They're on an 8-game winning streak. It's their longest streak since 2019. It'll be their longest streak since, 2016 if they're able to continue this, something like that. But again, Patriots fans, again, I'm not, the biggest fan of y'all at all because you guys are just playing cupcake teams. But again, you're still winning, so again, I can't really get too mad at y'all. The fact, again, you guys don't have to play Jamar Chase next week is pretty much a joke. But at the same time, if they put up 45 points, I think I can accept that game. 5, Eagles. Yeah, that offense is just not the greatest right now. But who really cares? They're winning games on another 4-game winning streak. We'll see if it bites them in the butt as they go to Dallas this weekend. We'll probably have to play a pretty good defensive game there, which, again, other than the Cardinals, no one's really done this year, which is kind of bizarre. All right, number 4, we got the Broncos. They're also on a really long winning streak. I was very impressed by their game against the Chiefs. I was expecting them to get the crush. That did not, in fact, happen. Guys, really, they haven't had one game that hasn't come down to the last play. They realistically, I would say they should be 11-0, but honestly, they should be 11-0, guys. They have been competitive, if not, again, relatively, like, probably 2 games they've been dominant, but they've been in 9 games that have been really, really freaking close. And again, the fact that they were bound to lose a couple. That Indy game in week 2 obviously was hilarious. And if it wasn't for Bo Nix missing a deep ball and like a 3rd down drop or something like that against the Chargers, they would be 11-0. But again, that's bound to happen when you have this many one-score games. The fact that they're still this good in those scenarios and all these games are super close, I think honestly at this point it's just going to be who they are. And I think it's actually not a bad thing. I mean, yeah, it could flame out like the Vikings did, but not really because they're on an 8-game winning streak and they outplayed the Chiefs this past week. I got to give them props right there. That was a true win right there. Number 3, give me the Colts. They didn't play this week, but they've been doing their thing. Again, more and more the Falcons continue to falter. It makes me think that that win was a little bit more of a a little bit more of a scare than again it was of an actual win. But at the same time, guys, Colts are number 3. They're 8-2. Very interesting to see what they do when they go to Arrowhead this week. I don't think they're going to be very successful there because again the Chiefs at this point have to put something together or something. But again, we'll see what actually happens there. Number 2, give me Seattle. Yeah. Nothing really changed for me. Again, Sam Darnold pooped his pants. I wasn't expecting much else other than that. Their defense is the best in football other than Houston right now, in my opinion. Obviously, the Rams kind of overmatched them, but honestly, I don't even really know they did this. Seahawks completely stymied the Rams' offense, and again, that's just really going to take away coming out of that one. I will be shocked if Sam Darnold plays that bad again when they play in Seattle in Week 16, which will probably decide the division if I had to guess. Maybe not, though. Rams are 1 because they're the best team in football, and they beat the second best team in the league. What else do I have to say? I'm very terrified about this. I'm very concerned about this offense. Again, I know it was 1 game, but it was that bad in terms of the passing game. Please run the ball if things don't work. But that's all I got from here. That's all I got here from the Week 12 power rankings. I hope you guys enjoyed these rankings. If you have any comments or opinions on these rankings, please do put those down in the comment section below. Who do you think is the worst team in the league? Who do you guys think is the best team in the league after week 11? That's all I got for you guys here. See y'all for the Thursday night and college football week 13 picks. It is the it's the penultimate week of college football in for their regular season. That's all I got for you guys here, though. Enjoy your night.
On a delay, hands up to Murray, DeMarco Murray. Going all the way for the touchdown. 91 yards for the score.
Sells pass here. It looks like pass all the way. That freezes the linebackers. Good block by 24. The fullback, Tony Fiametta, and DeMarco.